Yo, let's go. All right, Group A. That's what we're going to be talking about today. So that's Mexico, South Korea, Czechia, and South Africa. So I'm excited. This group is close, right? You got Mexico first, host nation. They've been balling out in the in the international friendlies. They tied Portugal. That's hard to do. They tied Belgium. Those are two strong teams. They're ranked like 15 in the world, and they look good. They got Raul Jimenez up top and Santi Jimenez coming back for AC Milan. They got some good wingers, Julian Quinones, Chucky Lozano, if anyone remembers from 2018. His goal against Germany literally caused an earthquake, bro. In Mexico, when they celebrated that goal, it registered as an earthquake. So they're gonna show out no matter what. The other thing is that every single one of these games is for the group is in Mexico. So they're gonna have a huge home field advantage coming up, and it's gonna be chaos. I'm gonna watch almost every single one of these games. It's gonna be so much fun. There's also the let me check the schedule. Hold on. Right. So the first game of I think of the World Cup. Yeah, the first game. So the first game is Mexico, South Africa. And if you remember back in 2010, the first game of the World Cup in South Africa was South Africa, Mexico, and that crazy goal from what's his name? Shabalala?
Tonight just led the charge in South Africa.
I remember this year was crazy. This was crazy. This is the first game of the World Cup in South Africa as the host nation.
Taylor, what do you say? It's a really good ball.
Shabalala! What a goal, bro. What a goal. And then the dance. Hey, he goes. Hold on. Hey, 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 hey. That was crazy, bro. One of the most iconic goals in World Cup history. So that's the rematch, right? The first game, June 11th. It's That's gonna be a fun watch. I mean, it's a different situation because South Africa is not as good as they were, and Mexico is a lot better. I think they're ranked 15 in the world. We can actually check that. Yeah. So you got Mexico's 15th in the world, South Africa 60th, Korea 21st, Czechia 41st. So that's a close group. I mean, you could see, yeah, this statistic right here, this chart right here, this is perfect. So it pulls up, it's every team ranked, and then how close so you can see how close the groups are, right? So Mexico 15, and this is nuts. I think this USA's group, which I'm going to talk about, but Mexico's group is not the best in terms of compared to the other groups because Mexico's not as strong as some of the best teams in the other groups, but it's so close. So this could go anywhere. I'm excited for this group. South Korea, right? So South Korea with them, the story's gonna be Heung-min Son, what's his name, Hwang Hee-chan, and Kang-in Lee. So that's their three like main attackers. So Son plays for LAFC in the MLS. He's not been at the same level as he was in the Premier League, and he's getting a little bit older. But he's still only 33, and with the recovery and how well people take care of their bodies these days, like he can keep balling. I know I put him outside the list for top 25 players, but he can make an impact for them. And then you got Hwang Hee-chan. He plays for I think Wolves. Yeah, he plays for Wolves. He's a baller, bro. He's so fast. He can shoot. He's gonna be dangerous for them. I didn't realize he was 30 though. That's kind of crazy. He looks young, but he's good. And then you got Kang In Lee, who's plays for PSG with Dembele, Doué, Kvaratskhelia, Vitinha. He's part of that kind of squad. So he'd be playing a lot more if he wasn't on the team with some crazy players. Yeah, right here. But he's good. So their problem is gonna be their defense and their midfield because they're not like the most athletic. So you can kind of hit them on the counterattack if you want. They lost 4-0 to Ivory Coast. That game, that game should have been a lot closer. Korea hit the post like 3 or 4 times. And they looked really good. They looked real good. So I think Korea gets second maybe. Right? I think Mexico wins. I think Korea gets second. Czechia, South Africa is tough because Czechia went to penalties against Denmark in the European qualifiers. That was crazy. The books have them favorited to win the group. Then South Korea second, Czechia third. South Africa, they're not really giving much of a shot. I don't know. I mean, I think Mexico definitely wins this, right? They got the home field advantage. They got the players. They've been in good form. So I think they come up top. Then South Korea, I'm going to give number 2. All right, so we pull this up, right? I got Mexico number 1. The home field advantage is going to be too much. Their manager's on a hot streak. They're getting good results against good teams, Portugal, Belgium. You got the attacking power with Raul Jimenez. Santi Jimenez might come back. Chucky Lozano. They got that left back, Jesus Gallardo. He's been there for like 20 years. Guillermo Ochoa is not going to go, so the goalkeeping, there's going to be a question about that. But that home field advantage is going to be too much. And when you have a decent host team, they do well, right? I just showed you that South Africa clip. Qatar didn't do too well, but they weren't that good anyways. Russia in 2018, they made it to the quarterfinals. Brazil 2014 made it to the semis and only got knocked out because I think Neymar and Thiago Silva were gone. So I think I'll put Mexico at 1. Then I'm gonna say Korea. It's a shame that they don't play in the United States because there are not many Koreans in Mexico, you know. And if they could play in the United States, they'd have a little bit more support at their games. That being said, there's not many South Africans in Mexico, and there's not many people from Czechia in Mexico either. So it's not like they're at a disadvantage compared to the other two. So I'm gonna put Korea second. I think their attacking players kind of help out a little bit there. I'll go Czechia third, and then South Africa. They're just not they're not a very strong team. They like to counterattack a little bit, but they're not the strongest team. I obviously wish everyone good luck, but I just don't see them getting fourth or getting anywhere but fourth. But if you look at it, right, it's 12 groups, right? They did a whole nother round. So it's a round of 32 now and a round of 16, and then before it was only round of 16, quarterfinals, semifinals, final. Now they got a whole nother round, so they have to have some third place teams in. And when we look at that, this is a group I think a third place team could come from. The 12 first place teams, then 12 second place teams, that's 24. You get 8 of the third place teams. So the 8 strongest third place teams, I think, regardless if it's this or this, I think they both get in. I think it'll be Mexico 1, Korea 2, Czechia 3. But if not, I think Korea still gets in. And then if we look at the bracket, right? Right. So now we go around to 32, right? 2A is going to play 2B. So that means that the second place team from Group A is going to play the second place team from Group B. So if we talking about Group B, the second place team, maybe Canada, maybe Switzerland. That's not that great. I mean, I could see Korea or Czechia, whatever. I would rate them over Switzerland, and Canada, if I'm being honest, right? That's not the most difficult group. I mean, and we'll break that one down next video, but I think whoever is the second place team here has a nice little game in the round of 32 that can get them to the or to the round of 16. But I think whoever gets second in this group has a good shot at winning that round of 32 game. So, you got to look out for this group. I think this is and Mexico's my dark horse, if I'm being honest, right? Because they'll play a third place team. I mean, the whole thing with Mexico, right, is they never get over the hump, right? 2022, they didn't make it out the group stage. They didn't make it out the group stage because it was Argentina and Australia. Or 2018, so Mexico, they played Brazil in the first round of 16, which is technically the second round this time, but they lost two. Wow. Right, I remember this game. Neymar scored. Yeah. And then you think about 2014, that crazy penalty. Rafa Marquez goes to tackle him. Robin flops. It's called a penalty. They put it away. It was heartbreaking. And we can pull that up. The biggest dive I've ever seen.
Last state, here we come.
This was such a crazy game. So I remember Giovanni Dos Santos scores first. Great goal. Then Wesley Schneider. This is so nostalgic. 2014 World Cup, the best World Cup in terms of just pure vibes. 2022 was the best in terms of like the actual result and the games, but in terms of pure vibes, you can't beat 2014, right? So Gio Dos Santos scores, then Schneider scores a freaking rocket. I mean, he's inside the box, but you're not stopping that. And then this, I remember this. The worst dive of all time. I remember my Mexican friends were fuming. He doesn't. I mean, like, just look at the dive there. He touches him, but it's not a foul, and then he puts it away. So right, that's the story every single time with Mexico. Can they do it in the round of 16? They'll definitely get out the group, and I think they'll win that game against, unless something crazy happens. I think they'll win that game, that round of 32 game against the third place team. But can they make it past the round of 16? That's what I want to see, and I think they can. I'm gonna make a bold prediction. I'm gonna say Mexico are gonna get to the round of 8. That's the quarterfinals. That is my prediction. I think they can do it this year. Korea, I think if they get second, they can make the the round of 16. Czechia, the problem is you really need to get second. Because if you get third, you're probably making it past the group stage. The only teams the third place team could play is probably Germany, which is a tough one, and Belgium, which is also tough. So you don't want to be third in this group. The Korea-Czechia game is going to be huge for the standings. I think Mexico probably end up with like 6 points. Korea, I could see them getting 4 or 5. You just don't. This is what matters, right? Is it going to be Czechia? Is it going to be? Because then you get a much easier game in the round of 32. I don't think South Africa did it well. But a moment like Chabalala's goal would be incredible. All right, that was it for Group A. I think this is the way it ends up. We'll talk about Group B tomorrow. But I'm excited. There's going to be a fun group. You got the dark horse with Mexico. Korea is not a bad team. I mean, it's just overall a very close group. So, don't sleep on Group A. But I appreciate you tuning in. And just look out for the next video.